Hello, I'm Laurie Lane-Zucker, founder and CEO of Impact Entrepreneur, and I'm back for more interviews here at SOCAP, the largest impact investing conference in the world, San Francisco, California. And I am with
Laina Green from Angels of Impact.
Laina Green from Angels of Impact. Laina, it's great to see you. Thank you for sitting down.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Angels of Impact,
Yes.
please describe what you do.
So we're an angel investment network that invests in the missing middle, small and medium enterprises that are women-led, focused on SDG 1, no poverty, gender equality, and responsible production and consumption.
And what countries are you active in?
We focus on Southeast Asia.
What countries in Southeast Asia?
Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Cambodia, and we soon hope to get into Vietnam and Myanmar as well.
And can you be more specific about how you engage in those countries?
Sure. So the way we work with women-led social enterprises, we believe that women on the ground actually know what the solutions are. So we look for people who are past the early stage where they've already run the business for about 3 to 5 years, maybe 8 years, but they're struggling with investments.
So they're already at market.
They're already at market, they already have revenue coming, but they need to grow. And many of them will have different needs. Some would need funding. Some would need capacity building to get them funding ready, and some of them need market access. So it's different support for different women-led social enterprises.
So how does an entrepreneur find you, or how do you find them?
At the moment, in terms of how we find them, all of us come from the social impact space for a long time, so we more or less know the players, but a lot of it is also through referral. So women that we have worked with will then refer us to other women that they know are doing similar work, and likewise vice versa, they hear about us because we are pretty much in the network, so we've been heard of.
Um, is it fair to call you an accelerator?
No, I would say we're an angel investing network, yeah.
Do you work with accelerators to give that kind of more formal, structured support?
Correct. We do work with other accelerators to give us reference as well, like people who've been through the accelerator program are ready for the next step. We do capacity building more in terms of getting them funding ready. So that's slightly different from what an accelerator does, which is the whole overall business. But in the process of getting them funding ready, obviously, we kind of figure out what's broken in the company, what the actual funding needs relate to how the use of funds are. So in that sense but we don't go in there and tell them how to write a business plan, because by then they really should have got a lot of those fundamentals in place.
Do you work with IIX, Doreen Shana's impact investing group that works in Asia?
Yeah, so it's a relatively small world. We all know each other. Doreen works at those who are ready for even bigger impact investing. Yeah, so we have had one or two in our network who's gone on to get funded by them. There's a lot of synergies, but we're really, as we said, very focused on the missing middle. So often the people that we work with are not considered sexy investments for impact investors.
Are you doing just equity investments? Or are you doing integrated finance where you might give concessionary rate debt or even grants?
Correct, it's more integrated capital. And then when it comes to grants, we partner with other organizations to co-fund.
So can you give me an example of a really interesting company that you've worked with recently?
We worked with a company that's based in Cambodia. She's very, very grassroots. So she actually came from a weaving community and was helping the community. She's managed to work with 450 weavers and get really high export quality silk at really good prices. So she was already exporting to France and Germany, and she had a pretty sizable revenue already. And what she needed was working capital to be able to build a second facility, to have a new production facility so that they could actually take production of finished goods from the cities into the rural areas and provide more jobs. So we came in there, gave her a short, interestingly, a lot of them just want short-term loans. So we came in there, and with that she was able to do it, and she's already repaid and moved on. And we then help her to the next round as well.
Now, when you're looking at a company like that, is there a kind of a triple bottom line lens that you're bringing? I mean, in terms of her, say, obviously she's creating jobs, but is there a sustainable agriculture kind of approach to the creation of the fabric?
Actually, there is, because she goes from the entire supply chain of silk. So right from the mulberry tree leaves. So she actually works with people who've got extra land in their home, teaches them how to grow mulberry leaves. And then she has people who actually, have the silkworm farms. So she's got the entire supply chain in place. But the other social impact that she has is the fact that ordinarily these young girls would have left school, got on a bus at 4 o'clock in the morning, go very far to a factory, work for 12 to 15 hours, come back home and earn only about $100 a month. She's managed to double their income with them staying at home, earning an income, at the same time finishing their school. So she's keeping families together as well. So that's another very key component to look at.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. For a company like that, what's the kind of the big upside, long-term upside in terms of where this company can go? I mean, are most of these companies going to stay regional and kind of within a certain size parameters, or are some of these companies kind of designed to be really scalable, multinational in the sense of Asia, Southeast Asia, or even further? Or are you and many of the companies content to being, very defined, place-based, focusing on their area? Can you give me some kind of perspective on that?
Yeah, so I would say the answer all depends on the entrepreneur that we're working with. So we're not going to come in there and dictate to them that, oh my God, you should go the whole of ASEAN region as opposed to your own country. So we usually go in there and figure out what they want to achieve. Many of them have the potential to scale. They're very, very bright people, but a lot of times it depends on the circumstances of where they live, what their goals are. But a lot of these are replicable models. So a lot of times I would say that they will start coming up with really good branding, which then they can then franchise it out or work with other people. And some of them actually have people coming and knocking on their doors and saying, you've been successful, can you help us? So one social enterprise, for example, in Indonesia that we work with, started off with only working with, I think, about 450 weavers. And she had a non-profit organization that was helping women, single household women to make a living. And they came to her and said, you've been successful, work with us. Now she's paired up with them. They've got 5,000 weavers in their network. So she's grown to 1,000, soon to 5,000. So a lot of it depends on, the circumstances that allow them to scale. Because one of the things we've also seen is that when an impact investor comes in with the normal, traditional mantra of do good, do well, I've also seen social enterprises who receive that money for scale and then move away from their social mission. So they may have originally started to help women in rural areas, and they'll end up in urban areas and not even women and not even the poor.
And that's a familiar story here in the United States and in many other countries as well.
Yeah.
Listen, Laina, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.